Hey guys! So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Maggie Dull, and I'm a senior at Runbeck High School. For the poem project, I chose to do If by Rudyard Kipling. And there are a lot of reasons why I chose this poem over others, mainly because of the message it conveys. It really settled with me. Rudyard writes a ton of standards or suggestions of how a boy can become a man. And while it's a boy and a man, it really applies to everybody, despite your gender. I really, though, want to connect this to a trip I took when I was 15. I went to Tanzania in Africa and spent a lot of time with the Maasai people there. And their fundamental way of life was such a wake-up call. But after reading this poem, my mind just kept drifting to them. And the men especially, they have a ritual where the top chief of their tribe is the man who can jump the highest. And while that seems so maybe silly, or what's the point to us here, it was their culture, their way of life. It was how you proved yourself. And with that being said, the people there embodied, or the top chief embodied, all of these elements that Rudyard talks about. He talks, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. The men there spent hours practicing jumping up and down as high as they could get. Rudyard says, if you can dream and not make your dreams your master. These people, all the men, that's all they wanted to be, was the top, the man who could jump the highest. And they dreamed, but there was day-to-day life too. They couldn't just spend all their time jumping. There were people to feed and a tribe to protect. So while Rudyard suggests, yes, dream, because it's so good for people to dream, he also says, remember, this is your life, and these moments you're given are precious, and not to overlook them. He also says, so hold on when there's nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. And still, when I read that, I thought of the Maasai again, when here they are, out in the plains of Africa, surviving with the bare essentials, and there are times when I'm sure they question their existence. Here we are in the US, and while we have more than ample supply of what we need, people still question what and why and how and everything. And there is a will that is very primal that just says hold on, and people without that lack what they really need. Kipling then goes on to say, you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch. And again, I thought of the Maasai. I just kept going back to them, because the people there, even the chief, did the dirty work. He worked with the people. He made sure the women and the children were fed, and yet he was so respected widely throughout the community. And it was a really incredible experience. And this poem, with its morals and ethics that it requires for these boys to become men, I think it really applies to all people, as well as the Maasai and men and boys. And it's just saying, live life to its fullest. As basic and overheard we all hear that, it's really, really true. And Kipling really emphasizes that with this poem. So If you can keep your head when all about you others are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated and don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make your thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knives to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stop, build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose, start at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerves anew to serve your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.